We have to kick it off with this bombshell allegations from Angelina Jolie. So she detailed new abuse allegations against Brad Pitt, claiming that he choked one of his 6 kids and struck another one while on a 2016 flight. She filed these documents on October 4th and alleged that he was physically and emotionally abusive toward Angelina and their kids throughout this flight. So the documents state when one of the children verbally defended Jolie, Pitt lunged at his own child and Jolie grabbed him from behind to stop him. To get Jolie off his back, he threw himself backwards into the airplane seats, injuring her back and elbow. The children rushed in and all bravely tried to protect each other. Before it was over, Pitt choked one of the children and struck another in the face. Some of the children pleaded with him to stop. They were all frightened. Many were crying. Now, a source did tell Us Weekly that Angelina continues to rehash, revise, and reimagine her description of an event that happened 6 years ago by adding completely untrue information each time she fails to get what she wants. Her story is constantly evolving. They added that she had the opportunity to share this information with law enforcement and at the custody trial. So piggybacking off that, why do you think this information is coming out right now?
So much going on this week, Christina. Wow. So this is an allegation that was raised in a counterclaim that Angelina filed in the civil case related to the chateau that they own together. Of course, Angelina wants to sell her share and Brad is trying to prevent her from doing so. So even though this is about a civil case, which is really about money, she raised these allegations to the FBI. And the reason it's a federal case was because this was one when they were on their private jet. Now, the agent thought that there was probable cause to move forward with an assault case, but the U.S. Attorney's Office, where I used to work, decided not to prosecute the case. So there's no criminal charges pending, but this case can affect the civil case. And it can also affect the family law case. Let's not forget, Angelina Jolie is trying to prevent Brad Pitt from having joint physical custody. She wants the kids. And of course, whenever there's allegations involving child abuse, these are minors, social workers may come in and there may be a dependency case. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's always a possibility that the children are removed from the home.
Right. So why wouldn't she bring this up in the custody trial, years ago? Why hold on to this information and bring it up 6 years later? I know it's because of the civil lawsuit, but it seems kind of interesting that she waited so long to bring these allegations forward. Is this because she was requesting that information from the FBI lawsuit?
Well, Christina, we don't know what happened in the family law case because let's not forget, it was a private arbitration with a judge that they hired. It wasn't public. So the parties in the family law case, Brad and Angelina, didn't want any of this to become public. Now, civil lawsuits, like criminal cases, those are public. So the reason that these are coming out now is because we all have access to the filings, but we don't know whether these allegations were raised in the family law case because, again, that was a private, confidential proceeding, not accessible to the public.
Interesting. So can law enforcement reopen a case against him because this information is now public?
Well, the statute of limitations is run. It's been more than 5 years because this allegedly happened in 2016. And normally, once prosecutors reject a case, it's uncommon for them to go back and pick it up later on. So I don't expect anything to happen to Brad Pitt as far as criminal charges are concerned. But of course, like any case, this is being used as a leverage in the civil case. The allegations are pretty serious.
They're really serious. So she alleges that she did give Brad an opportunity to buy her out of the chateau, the winery that they own, but he wanted an NDA. Do you think it was because he did not want these allegations to be made public?
Probably. And I think Brad and Angelina made a huge mistake. When you get divorced, you want to walk away entirely. The last thing you want is to have a business or a property with your ex because bad things like this can happen. Normally, the parties can't agree. The property will be auctioned. The proceeds will be split. Or one party will buy the other out. That's what should have happened. And we would have avoided this entire mess altogether.
Yeah. I mean, how does this help her case in the Miraval case? Does it? Or does who is, coming out on top, in your opinion?
It's not really going to affect the case because really it's a case about did Brad and Angelina agree not to sell the property to third parties? Because ultimately, if you're a spouse, you're a business partner, you can sell your share of a property. You can sell your share of a business. That's the general rule. Now, of course, Brad is saying that they had a verbal agreement or a handwritten agreement where Angelina agreed not to do that. And these allegations, even though they dirty Brad Pitt up, and certainly it's going to make him look bad in the press, doesn't really affect the facts and law that apply to the Chateau case.
Right. So, and then speaking of the children, how does this affect them? Can they be called into this trial as well? Because I believe that they were called in the custody trial, if I'm correct.
It can absolutely affect them. I mean, they're witnesses. Now these allegations are being made directly involving them, right? You're talking about striking, you're talking about choking. Angelina said that Brad even poured beer and wine on them. So there's a lot going on. They may be called as witnesses in a very sort of nasty civil litigation between their mom and dad.
Yeah, oof. This is really ugly. You would think that 6 years later, maybe we'd get to some resolution, but it doesn't seem like there is one in sight.
No, I don't think so. And if this goes forward and we get a trial, this could be Johnny Depp and Amber Heard part 2. Everything is going to come out.
Do you foresee this going to trial, you think, since they can't come to any sort of agreement?
Well, hopefully they learn like the other famous Hollywood couple, because when you're getting a divorce, you want to resolve it privately, because ultimately when you're bringing your kids into it and these types of allegations, but it may be too late. Once you throw that first punch, Brad may have to defend himself, and he may have to do so in the court. Not only just the courtroom, but the court of public opinion like Johnny Depp did.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.